Some conversations are quietly familiar to many INTJ and INFP relationships. You are both sincere, but you feel alone. The room is quiet. 2 cups of tea sit untouched on the table. Steam thins into the air, dissolving before either of you speaks again. One of you leans forward, trying to understand what shifted. The other searches for a sentence that won't sound dramatic, won't sound unfair. Nothing in the posture is hostile. Nothing in the tone is sharp. Yet something invisible has already moved out of reach. The words are calm. The understanding is not. They are already speaking from different worlds. An INFP and an INTJ can sit across from each other and speak the same language, the same vocabulary, the same careful sentences. And still, somewhere between intention and reception, the meaning bends. There are conversations many people recognize without naming, not because one is wrong, because they are translating different atmospheres. The INTJ begins with precision. I need to understand what exactly is bothering you. It is meant as an invitation, a door opened with clarity, a structure where confusion can settle into something manageable. The INTJ believes that if something can be defined, it can be respected. If it can be outlined, it can be protected. But the INFP does not feel a door. They feel a spotlight. Their discomfort was not shaped yet. It was still mist, still sensation. And now it is being asked to solidify under fluorescent light. The INTJ's clarity feels like distance. Efficiency sounds like emotional coldness. What was meant as honesty lands like rejection. Neither of them notices the fracture forming. A pause grows. The INFP tries again, softer this time. They speak of a feeling that lingered after a conversation last week. A tone, a subtle shift. Something that did not match the words spoken. It is abstract, it is atmospheric. It lives between lines rather than inside them. The INTJ listens carefully, but they are searching for a variable, a concrete reference point, a timeline, an event that can be examined. They do not dismiss the feeling, they simply cannot hold it without edges. And so they ask for clarification. When exactly did this happen? The question is neutral. The INFP hears doubt. Their vulnerability, which was fragile but real, begins to retract. What was meant as openness now feels like confusion under inspection. The INFP is not presenting evidence. They are presenting experience. And experience does not like being cross-examined. The INTJ notices the withdrawal and becomes more focused, more analytical. They want to repair this. They want to eliminate distortion. So they explain their intention clearly, step by step. I didn't mean it that way. Logically, that wouldn't make sense. The explanation is accurate. It is also devastating, because the INFP was never arguing logic. They were describing impact. The INTJ corrects the misunderstanding, believing this will remove the hurt. But correction does not soothe. It sharpens. The attempt to solve becomes another wound. Silence settles differently on each of them. For the INTJ, silence is containment, a necessary retreat to process, to recalibrate. Emotions, when too intense, must be stepped away from, not avoided, just organized privately. Distance is protection. For the INFP, silence is absence. It feels like abandonment unfolding in slow motion. The room is still occupied. The chairs remain close. But emotionally, something has stepped outside without explanation. The same silence. Opposite meanings. They both still care. That is the quiet tragedy. The INTJ cares enough to try to make the conversation efficient, to prevent escalation, to remove unnecessary emotional chaos. Their love is expressed through structure, through stability, through an attempt to create a world where misunderstandings are minimized by precision. The INFP cares enough to reveal their inner tremors, to name the subtle shifts that most people ignore. Their love is expressed through emotional attunement, through depth, through a longing to be felt, not just understood. Neither is insincere, but sincerity does not guarantee synchronization. There is a moment, small, almost invisible, when they stop translating. The INTJ grows tired of being perceived as cold when they are trying to be responsible. The INFP grows tired of explaining why feelings cannot always be itemized. Exhaustion replaces adjustment, and connection does not explode. It thins. The conversation continues, but something has shifted beneath it. The INTJ begins to speak more carefully, reducing emotional exposure to avoid further misinterpretation. The INFP begins to filter what they share, sensing that their internal landscape requires too much explanation. Both adapt, but they adapt away from each other. An INFP lives in meaning. An INTJ lives in structure. Meaning asks, "What does this signify about us?" Structure asks, "What is actually happening?" When they speak the same sentence, they are often answering different questions. The INFP says, "It hurt when you said that." They are asking, "Do you feel my inner world?" The INTJ replies, "I didn't intend to hurt you." They are answering, "Was my action logically harmful?" Two accurate responses, two parallel lines. There is no shouting, no dramatic rupture, only a subtle realization that something essential is not landing. The INFP begins to feel lonely in proximity. The INTJ begins to feel misunderstood in effort. And neither knows how to name the fracture without deepening it. Because to the INTJ, emotions should not distort facts. To the INFP, facts without emotional resonance feel incomplete. One trusts coherence, the other trusts authenticity. One refines the system, the other protects the soul within it. They still sit at the same table, still share plans, still exchange kindness. But the atmosphere has changed. Words now carry a slight caution, a quiet fatigue, as if every sentence must pass through an invisible filter before being released. There is love here, but it is no longer being translated. The INTJ begins to internalize the belief that emotional conversations are traps. No matter how carefully they articulate, something unintended emerges, so they reduce articulation. They simplify. They offer solutions instead of presence. The INFP begins to internalize the belief that their feelings are excessive, difficult, hard to process. So they minimize. They soften. They tell themselves it is not worth bringing up. Protection grows on both sides. Protection looks like distance, and distance feels different depending on who you are. Sometimes they almost reconnect. A shared laugh, a quiet moment of mutual understanding about something external. In those spaces, the tension disappears. They remember why they chose each other. The intellectual respect, the emotional depth, the strange magnetism of difference. But when vulnerability returns, so does the fracture. Because vulnerability requires translation, and translation requires energy. The INTJ wants clarity before emotion expands. The INFP wants emotional safety before clarity sharpens. Each waits for the other to move first. Neither realizes they are guarding the same fear: to be unseen. The deepest wound is not the disagreement about what happened. It is the slow recognition that someone can hear every word you say and still not feel what you meant. When does understanding stop being enough? The INTJ feels unfairly cast as unfeeling. The INFP feels unfairly cast as irrational. Both identities begin to tighten around defense. And yet, they still care. That is what makes it heavy. This is not incompatibility. It is two inner architectures built differently. One designed for efficiency and long-term coherence, the other designed for internal harmony and emotional truth. Both intelligent, both profound, both sincere. But sincerity does not dissolve perceptual filters. An INFP and an INTJ can love each other deeply and still stand on opposite sides of the same sentence. There is a moment, late at night, when one of them looks at the other and wonders how something so close can feel slightly unreachable, not broken, not hostile, just untranslated. The tea has gone cold. The conversation has ended without resolution. They move through the apartment quietly, performing small rituals of care. A hand on a shoulder, a soft goodnight. Nothing dramatic, nothing final. But something remains suspended in the air. Not anger, not resentment. Just the awareness that love, by itself, does not automatically teach two people how to hear each other's emotional language. And somewhere beneath the calm exterior, both of them sense it. They were trying. They are still trying. But they are speaking from different skies. And the echo between them grows softer each time they stop translating. Those who have stood here know